One of the things that's happened to me over the years is rapping gets harder, but rhyming gets easier, if that makes any sense. But by the time it's all said and done, is this different than anything I've done? I've scribbled out many rhymes on my pad, feeling like, I already got something that's like that.
How many unreleased songs do you have in your head or that we haven't heard yet?
Thousands. I done lost hard drives.
Damn.
Really?
Hard drives from 05, 06, we never got back. Took it all the way to San Francisco to get it fixed, never got fixed. It's a need to never be content or to be comfortable. You know, you always want to continue to grow. So whatever that challenge is, I'm always looking for it.
In these two quotes, we see two of the greatest rappers of all time, Eminem and Kendrick Lamar, discuss the science of learning how to write better lyrics. Throughout this analysis, we'll watch as Kendrick and Shady dive deep into their respective writing processes and then mirror those direct quotes from the rappers themselves with information about how to come up with lyrics, how to destroy writer's block as an artist, and how to write more authentic lyrics. But let's begin by honing in on the first lesson we can pull from learning how to write better lyrics using the Kendrick Lamar and Eminem method. Experiment with your lyrics like a scientist.
I made a lot of songs. When I think back about how many songs I've actually made, I don't know how many I've made, but I made a lot of songs. And I make a lot of songs for each album. But I always try to approach each song slightly different. And even if I can't, like, okay, I've got a song that maybe was kind of like this 10 years ago. You know, let me put a little twist on it.
I could talk about anything, and this is the challenge for me. Being able to talk about anything and make it connect, you know, to a listener, where the listener can either feel like you or feel like they understand you, or you have just a deeper connection through the music with the listener. Talking to a little kid and making that represent something and feel like something, or saying the most brutal, harsh things on record where, you know, society may not want to hear it.
To the outside fan or future superstar who has just started writing lyrics, it would appear like artists such as Marshall and Kendrick simply pull bars out of thin air like a magician with no method to the madness. Although perhaps we all wish creating better lyrics could be so mystical, the truth of the matter is, a better comparison for a lyricist pushing themselves into a new creative realm is that of a scientist. Yes, lyricists are closer to scientists than magicians. This is because, much like a seasoned scientist trying to test their data and establish a new theory, after you've been writing lyrics for literally decades, filling up hard drives like Kendrick, or having to compete with your 22-year-old self at age 50 like Eminem, you reach a point where you need to have an experimental mindset. You're no longer competing with other artists or pushing yourself to come up with lyrics just to become proficient in music like your idols. You're now competing with yourself. Therefore, the very first step to learning how to write better lyrics like Kendrick and Eminem is shifting your lyrical content into a constant experimentation mode and then expanding on what you find. As someone who's coached rappers here, YouTube's most subscribed channel on learning how to rap, and perhaps more importantly, traveled to over 15 countries as a professionally paid rap artist, let me humbly offer you one quick method in order to implement your new experiment and expand mindset for writing lyrics. Start doing don't leave till it's done sessions.
Because he was the first artist that I worked with that actually treated the business like a real job. Like, he comes in at 9 a.m. every day to the studio, takes his lunch break at 1, and is out of there by 5 p.m. It's like a schedule.
Partially inspired by Akon's description of Eminem's workflow, a Don't Leave Till It's Done session is where you first schedule 1 hour of uninterrupted writing, next come up with the song or lyric concept before writing, and then don't leave the room until it's done. To put this into a real-life example, although the Akon described Eminem workflow was further confirmation as a rap coach that this is the way to help lyricists write better songs, oddly, I found I had already been doing this method before. As I made the transition from amateur wannabe rapper recording tracks in my mother's basement, literally, to eventually being paid full-time to travel the world as an artist, I found that the best way to avoid writer's block to guarantee the song gets finished is simply by forcing yourself to finish the lyrics in one sitting. However, of course, simply saying I'll force myself isn't enough to motivate yourself consistently, so we broke it down into these steps. The reason to schedule 1 hour of uninterrupted writing is, first, by scheduling 1 hour of uninterrupted time, you know when you're gonna start so that you won't just sit around waiting for inspiration like an amateur, but rather train your brain to be more professional, but more importantly, you know when you're going to finish, much like Eminem's workflow. That's gonna help when you feel those writer's block nerves telling you that you'll never come up with good lyrics. The second step is to come up with what you're going to write about before you've written a single bar down. Look, this is crucial because as we said in the beginning of this video, you wanna get in the habit of experimenting. And what better way to experiment than pushing yourself to write about something you've never written before? Now, if you find that coming up with what to write lyrics about quickly and efficiently is difficult for you, click the first link in the video description to get our free step-by-step video course, How to Write Lyrics on Any Topic in 20 Minutes or Less, and we'll guide you for free how we personally have coached artists to do this. The last piece of this workflow is simply to sit and not leave until the hour is complete. Over time, what you'll find when learning how to write better lyrics this way is that you'll realize that it's more important to have your bars done rather than trying to always compete with the best bar, because frankly, some of your best work will not necessarily feel perfect in the moment. When you're writing and when you're recording, you're using two different parts of your brain, and sometimes your judgment mind about what's good when you're writing isn't the same as your judgment mind when you're recording or releasing. So always build your self-trust that something that pops into your brain as an artist in the moment might be better than you think, and always be ready for new ideas. Don't judge yourself until it's done, which brings us to number 3, have a location for light bulb lyrics.
By the time I get into the studio, I have to find that exact sound that triggered the emotion or the idea that I thought about 2 months ago. Doing one at a time.
Do you make notes?
Definitely, all the time. I have to make notes because a lot of my inspiration comes from meeting people or going outside of the country or going around the corner to my old neighborhood, talking to a 5-year-old little boy, and I have to remember these things.
I lost a notebook one time, like years ago. I lost a Britney Spears notebook, and it had lyrics to the Marshall Mathers LP. Were like it had like 5 or 6 songs in it, and I lost it.
I think of lyrics in my head all the time, though. I try to keep them in my head, but I write everything, anything that's around that I can write on, this desk, whatever.
You would
I'll
scribble
write
it
on
down.
it. Yeah, because I'm not good at keeping thoughts. I get scatterbrained sometimes, and
It's ironic that in these days of social media, divided attention, and ADHD, we don't as a society talk more about the importance of writing and saving great ideas we have for the future. I'm sure all of us have experienced more and more having a hard time remembering a fire lyric or brilliant idea that we wanted to put out to the world, but then it disappears into the ether because we didn't write it down. Now, right here, right now, you are hearing from 2 of the greatest lyricists in rap, and arguably popular music overall, since rap is the most lyrical genre of popular music, telling you that they always write out their thoughts rather than keeping them pent up. I mean, between 2 of these guys, we're talking about over 100 million albums sold. So why not take their exact workflow when it comes to learn how to come up with better lyrics? Therefore, it's our personal opinion here at How to Rap that it's absolutely crucial you take the time to find a space for your light bulb lyrics. Light bulb lyrics is a catchy phrase we've come up with to describe ideas for lyrics or song titles, or really anything creative that you come up with seemingly out of nowhere. These would be different than having the amateur mindset of waiting for inspiration to strike, which usually means you just end up waiting day after day, which turns into week after week, and before you know it, you haven't completed a song in months. Additionally, by having a library of light bulb lyrics easy to access for you, when you start doing your Don't Leave Till It's Done sessions mentioned in number 2, you're gonna find the entire creative process much easier, because anytime you feel stuck in that session, you'll have 1,000,001 ideas to pull from in your light bulb lyrics library right at your side. Now let's be clear, sometimes catchy phrases like light bulb lyrics and don't leave until it's done might sound corny or over the top when it comes to learning such a commonly aggressive genre as rap. However, remember, you've just listened to 2 goats say that they do these things when they write rap. There's no longer any mystery for you around exactly how some of the greatest lyricists of all time perform at a high level consistently. As we mentioned, they experiment like a scientist, they complete the full song like a job, and they have a library of lyrics at all times. Now know how to write better lyrics like Eminem and Kendrick directly from their hidden coaching in their interviews. Furthermore, if you want to learn how to step-by-step write on any topic for free, visit the video description as we mentioned. And of course, I want to see you in the comments. Do you personally write lyrics with a notebook, on your phone, or simply think your lyrics like Lil Wayne and Jay-Z? I've been your host, Drew Morrissey. This is How to Rap. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next one.